Obarigani, Obarigani, peace and love. Good afternoon, brothers, sisters, friends, and kin. I am Dr. Earl Fisher. I am honored, I am privileged, and pleased. It's my pleasure to be the pastor of this Abyssinian Baptist Church where you are today. And on behalf of our entire congregational network of friends and kin, with the deepest amount of ancestral affirmation and appreciation, we welcome you and greet you. We are so glad that you are here. Welcome to day 2 of Kwanzaa 2025 on behalf of the Mid-South Kwanzaa Incorporated. Some of the members of the Mid-South Kwanzaa Incorporated are near dear to my heart because they are beautiful Black people, but also because they are directly connected to where you are right now, the Blackest Church in Memphis and Shelby County. So it's always my honor on behalf of Sister Colleen, our Glam, Mother Cookie, and President Brother O Super Moon. We are glad that you are gathering in this place. I want to ask for cooperation. I want to ask those who are sitting in the back to come a little bit closer to the front because we want to make sure that you can all engage together. But as people continue coming throughout the duration of the program, they can fill in the back. Although Abyssinian is a Black church, we don't necessarily have designated areas. You can sit anywhere. And as you are here, please do make yourself at home. If you want to go to the restroom, you go straight through the double doors that are on my left and on your right. Then you will see the men's room first and the ladies' room after that. I always like to invite people to acknowledge some of the special spaces in our sanctuary. And I also want to welcome those who will be watching this online through our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. To my left and to your right is our ancestral altar. I remember a couple of years ago, as we were hosting Kwanzaa, one of the news stations came. When she came in, the reporter was looking around and she said, I really like your decorations for Kwanzaa. And I had to inform her that we are like this every Sunday and every day. So we practice Kwanzaa 365. And for the last several years, to my left and to your right is our ancestral altar. I encourage you to visit that space before you leave here. At our ancestral altar, there are a few people represented there, some of which are direct descendants of our elders and our ancestors. So some of our church members, parents, grandparents, and siblings, and children are represented there. Some of our founding members are represented at that altar, and also some of our spirit siblings, some people who we believe have lived out the ethics of Abyssinia, no matter where they are or were. People like Ida B. Wells and people like Malcolm X. Yes, Malcolm X is on our ancestral altar. People like Nat Turner, people like Jeramogi or Bebe Ajaman or Albert Clegg Jr. So please take a moment to visit that space, and I know you'll be doing libation soon. I just wanted to take a moment and make sure that everybody feels welcome. If there's anything I or any of the Abyssinians can do, do not hesitate to let us know. I know some of y'all are back here, and so welcome back home. You're always in sacred space. So at this time, I want to invite up the aforementioned president of the Mid-South Kwanzaa Incorporated. Would y'all give it up for my dear brother, O Super Moon, as he comes?
Thank you, Brother Fisher. It's an honor to be here at the Blackest Church in Memphis. We want to thank everyone for coming out and helping us do what we do, which is honoring us. So I look out. Glad to see everyone here. Glad that you look at the program. We can pledge. Oh, I didn't go down far enough. of Christ, and she will lead us.
Organic. Organic. Please stand everyone for the African pledge and repeat after me. We are an African people. We will remember the humanity, glory, and sufferings of our ancestors and honor the struggle of our elders. We'll strive to bring new values and new life to our people. We will have peace and harmony among us. We'll be loving, sharing, and creating. We will work, study, and listen. Listen so we may learn. Learn so we may teach. We will cultivate self-reliance. We will struggle to resurrect and unify our homeland. We will raise many children for our nation. We will have discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will live as models to provide new direction for our people. Self-determined. We are African people. We are African people. We will win. We will win. We will win.
Baragani, Baragani, follow me to the libations to the ancestors. I'm going to be the libator, and I want the audience to respond. We come, sisters, far and near, Father of our fathers, who render mercy to the liberation and victory of our people. We come, our children, to witness what we have done, to learn strength from us, and be not afraid as we are not afraid. It is done. It is done. Ashe. At this time, Brother Omar Barudi is going to lead us in our libation.
Kujichagulia. Uh, let's go back in time because many of us don't realize who we are and who we are, and many of us don't realize. But if we go back in time, you'll realize that
Listen to the anthropologists and archaeologists who have done research and found African bones 3.2 million years old, and they belong to a black woman. So when you look at all the research, you find out that we have been here at least that long. Not 100 years, 1,000 years, not 20,000, 20,000, but 3.2 billion years we've been here. And if you look at around the globe, around the earth, the original Chinese are black. The original Japanese are black. If you go into Eugene, Oregon, they found bones from Eugene, Oregon belonging to a black man 40,000 years old. Down in Central America, South America, around the earth, even in Australia, black, 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 black. And they, even though they're in China, the black skin is rare. That's who we are. But then if you go back to the most recent time, you'll find out that it came from us. And then our children know who we are, and need to know that this is a black people so they can never forget what happened when we got you back and we were slaves, right? How many of us were not? Everybody in America was slaves. Not just a few thousand, 100,000, but tens of millions of us were slaves. And they took away our name, gave us a number. Slave number 1218. Slave number 655. They gave us a number. They took away our religion. We were not Christian. We were on the cross. They took the religion that we already had and they twisted it. So they would make us believe that we were the slaves and they were the Christians. They took away all the things that we were born with, raised with, lived with, and died with. But we go back and know our history. Teach our children their history. I have 7 children. My dad had 11 children. Even though my dad couldn't read or write, my dad taught us our history. And what happened to him doing it. And what happened to his grandparents and parents before that to his children. I want us to come back and take that same history to our children. So they will know who we are. If you go to the earliest period of time in Africa, you find there was a king named Khufu who built a pyramid. Here's a pyramid 480 feet tall, consisted of 2.3 million stones in the middle of a desert. In the middle of a desert, a pyramid. And this pyramid had a cooling of around 67 degrees night and day with no central heat and no central air. Born in this people called the Egyptians. And in his transition from this life, and his people were taught their history. They were taught their history. But in this transition from this life into life everlasting, we say Ashe for him. And then we go to Khafre, the son of Khufu, who built the Sphinx. The Sphinx is a picture of a lion with the head of a black man in the middle of a desert. And right now, the American system used that Sphinx on the back of their dollar bills, even though it's our symbol. And if you go right now and pull a $1 bill out your pocket, they got a picture of your pyramid, not their pyramid, that they stole from you and put on the back of their dollar bill, and it's got an eye on top of the pyramid. It's called the all-seeing eye of Ra. Ra. Because they know that's who you are, but you don't know that's who you are. Ra, the all-seeing eye of Ra. And the pyramid on their dollar bill, who does it belong to? Us. They stole it. They stole the Sphinx, they stole the pyramid. But that Sphinx that was built 6 stories tall, 210 feet long in the middle of a desert, the nose was shot off by Napoleon because he didn't want you to know who you are. But in his transition from this life into life everlasting, we say Ashe. And then we go to a boy king, Amun-Ra, who took the throne around 9 years old and died around 18 years old. But in his transition from this life into life everlasting, we say Ashe. And I really want us to go to something more modern, because our children need to know their history, and you cannot deprive them of what they need to know. Ida B. Wells, y'all know Ida B. Wells? The revolutionary called Ida B. Wells? Yes. And she didn't play. She was a soldier, and she fought in this city. In this city. Even though they burnt her publishing house down, she still fought in this city. So black people could wake up and see who they are, whose they are, and where they need to go, and start a revolution. But Sister Ida B. Wells, in her transition from this life into life everlasting, we say Ashe. And my sister, Dr. Betty Shabazz. Betty Shabazz, the wife of Malcolm X. Dr. Betty Shabazz, after Malcolm X was murdered in the Audubon Ballroom, you remember that? Murdered, shot 21 times by agents of the federal government, the CIA, and the New York Police Department. They blamed it on 3 Muslims. And after they spent 20 years in prison, they let them go, and they gave them compensation because they know they didn't shoot Malcolm at all. But they blamed them, and then they had to finally release them. And what I found out was that one of the agents on the New York Police Department, undercover agents, had developed cancer, driven to Miami, Florida to be with his grandson. And he signed a letter. He wrote a letter and signed it and told his own child, his own grandson, that they had threatened to kill him and his family if he told anybody about what happened to Malcolm X. And that's why when he wrote that letter and passed away, Benjamin Crump took that letter and went and sued the FBI, the CIA, and the New York Police Department for the murder of Malcolm X, shot 21 times in the Audubon Ballroom. And in his transition, Malcolm X, from this life into life everlasting, we say Ashe. Dr. Betty Shabazz, Nation of Islam, beautiful sister. Beautiful sister. She was at her home in Harlem, and somebody said that her 12-year-old grandson set the house on fire with gasoline. Never did happen. Never did happen. Who's the comedian that went to do the investigation? Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory went to the fire department to get the fire report to find out what actually happened to Betty Shabazz. She was burnt over 80% of her body, and 2 weeks later she was dead, and blamed it on her grandson. And the fire department showed them that this had been some kind of military incendiary device that set the house on fire, not her grandson. But in her transition from this life into life everlasting, we say Ashe. And her own grandson was murdered in Mexico. And he just transitioned from this life into life everlasting. We say Ashe. Dr. Martin Luther King, A brother so powerful, so powerful. At age 39, you took his life. You took it because you didn't respect him and you didn't accept him, white people. But you took his life. He came to Memphis to help do the Poor People's Campaign and also to help the sanitation workers in Memphis. He came to Ajuwa Tanbu's home. She was there feeding him and talking to him and taking care of him. She would go get him from the airport. And when she called me, she said Dr. King was just killed at the Lorraine Motel. And I was terrified. I'm trying to figure out, how can they shoot a man like that? What did he do? They took Dr. King from the hotel to St. Paul Hospital, or St. Joseph Hospital. There were nurses in the operating room, and a doctor and 2 CIA agents walked in there with the doctor. He was on the operating table. He wanted the nurses to leave. They wouldn't leave. And when he had them to come in that room, these agents and the doctor spit in Dr. King's face, called him a nigger. And then the doctor put a pillow on Dr. King's face and smothered him to death on the operating table. Here's a man that's fighting for his own people. And the murderers take him off this earth. But in this transition from this life into life everlasting, Dr. King, we say Ashe. And just a little bit after Dr. King was murdered, his own brother, Alvin King, which they named the bridge down here by the fairgrounds after Alvin King. Alvin King was at home with his wife. She went shopping, and a few hours later she called back to the house and there was no answer on the phone. And so she sped back home because she was trying to figure out why you didn't answer me. And when she got back to the house, she came and saw his body floating in the swimming pool in the backyard with underwear on, not swimming trunks, but underwear on. She called the police and she called the ambulance. And they took Dr. King to Alvin King to the hospital. And she had them to do an autopsy because she found bruises around his shoulder, his back, and his neck. And then when they did the autopsy, they said not one drop of water was found in his lungs. He didn't drown to death. They killed him right there in the swimming pool and threw him in the pool. And now they're being sued again by attorney Benjamin Crump for the murder of Alvin King. And his transition from this life into life everlasting, we say Ashe. I'm going to do one more, and I cannot let this pass me up. Because my own biological father couldn't read or write, 3rd grade, but he was a soldier, just like the other soldiers we don't see on this battlefield. And there are a lot of them out there, and I mean a lot of them out there. Rosa Parks is a soldier. Remember her? There are plenty of soldiers out there, but my own father, I'm a high school student, graduating, top of my class. I'm a college student. I've already sent all kinds of writings to Reader's Digest and getting paid. My last check I got from them for being the top of my class at 130-some black colleges, I got a $5,000 reward, or award, for what I was writing called Why Does the Negro Want Black Power? It was reviewed by Ralph Ellison, who wrote a book called The Invisible Man. He was one of the people that reviewed it, and that's where I got the money from in my junior year of college. But my own father, who was raising me the way he wanted everybody in the family to be raised. When he was a sharecropper down in Greenville, Mississippi, white men owned the plantation. He out there got 40 acres farming for the white man. And the white man comes to his door and knocks on the door, say, Ed, I need to talk to your wife. My dad steps outside and says, what you want with her? He said, I just want to have a little sex with her. My dad, my mom, and 3 of my siblings, I wasn't even born at that time. He said, you can't touch my wife. And with a shotgun, he pointed at my dad like he was about to kill him, and my dad snatched the shotgun out of his hand and blew his head off. And then dragged his head and his body to the back and put it underneath the porch and called his brother to come get him out of Greenville, Mississippi, and take him to Memphis, Tennessee. I kissed the ground he walks on to this day because I want to walk just like him. I want to walk just like him. Even though he can't read or write, it doesn't matter. He took care of all 11 of his children to make sure we all had some kind of degree of intelligence, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But that was my father. And when he died at my age of 18 and his age of 53, all I could do was cry when I went to John Gaston Hospital. And I made my mind up then that I got to walk in his footsteps and take care of my family and help my mom the way he helped all of us. And in his transition from this life into life everlasting, we say Ashe. I know you got family members that have been walking down these same paths. I've got one sister, about 3 years younger than me. And I kept trying to tell her, leave cigarettes alone, quit smoking. Don't do that. And she finally quit smoking for a day or two, and then she didn't want me to know she was still smoking. It was just 4 years ago. She called me on the phone in January, 4 years ago. And she said, I know you didn't want me to smoke no more, but I have developed cancer. I got stage 4 cancer, and I only got 4 months to live. And I cried. And then me and my brother went to Dr. Franco. Dr. Franco, they asked him, can he save my sister? And Dr. Franco said, yes. I got all the remedies that we can use. And I have had Roy Kent, if you know him, a friend over Java Juice and Jazz. Yes. He had gotten the same thing from Dr. Franco that I was about to give to my sister. And Dr. Franco put it together so that he didn't have cancer anymore. For 20 plus years, cancer came and cancer left. And I'm trying to get my sister to go the same path with Dr. Franco that Roy Kent went to. Same path. And then when she said, and I said, we got the herb, he brings it over there to you. And her own children said, Mom, you don't need to do all that. You don't need to do all that. So January the 1st, Dr. Franco came, and then her children convinced her don't use that, and 4 months later she was gone. But then my nephew, her son, developed cancer. Brain cancer, lung cancer, and liver cancer. And the herb that Dr. Franco had for her, he took them. And when we went to talk to him and look at him, the same herbs he gave, that we gave for Dr. Franco to give to her, he took those, and now he's cured of cancer. But I want our people to understand, we got to save our people. We got to walk down the path of righteousness to make sure that we don't lose our family members. I want you to right now to tell me in your family, who is in your family that you want to honor and praise and give thanks to because they did what they needed to do to help you. Name them. Ashe. 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 Ashe, 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 Ashe. Ashe. Kaiya Nantambu. Ashe. 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 Ashe, 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 Ashe. Ashe. Ashe, my brother, DK, yes, Ashe. Ashe, 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 Ashe. 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 Dick Gregory, yes, my man. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. It's done. Ashe.
Habaragani. Habaragani. It is our honor today that we have a king and queen, which is a cultural tradition in all African villages that we have a king and queen. So we have special guests today for our king and queen of Kujichagulia 2025. Our king is King Sobukwe Wavoka, and our queen is Queen Ama Nefertari Wavoka. These great people are educators. King Wavoka is an author. They are proud parents. They are the founders of the Fannie Lou Hamer Freedom School in Ena, Mississippi. And that you are going to be hearing from them later on. They are freedom fighters and in the fight for liberation. So please, if you would, stand up and really give them a warm welcome. Please be seated. So I'm going to briefly tell you all about the purpose of Kwanzaa. The purpose of celebrating Kwanzaa is to honor African American and Pan-African culture, heritage, family, and community. Kwanzaa is a non-religious holiday, and it is observed from December the 26th through the 1st of January. And the reason that we do it is to affirm cultural identity and promote unity and encourage collective responsibility among people of African descent. And Dr. Malana Karenga created Kwanzaa in 1966 in the aftermath of the Watts riots. He knew that all other ethnic groups were celebrating themselves. They were celebrating holidays like the Irish always celebrated St. Patrick's Day. But because our identity and our culture had been stolen from us, he wanted to have a festival and a celebration that we could actually bring together Black people and foster a sense of community. He decided to do it and to name it after a Swahili phrase, which was Matunda Ya Kwanzaa, and that's meaning the first fruits. And that is in the African tradition after harvest. In Africa, when they come with the first fruits, then you have a festival with dancing and singing and family. The core principles of Kwanzaa are the Nguzo Saba, and those 7 principles are actually not just for the Kwanzaa celebration, but these are principles that we need to incorporate in our year-round in our daily lives. We're going to be later doing some of the symbolism of Kwanzaa. We are going to be lighting the candles. It's a time for community storytelling and exchanging zawadi, which are handmade gifts. So at this time, what I would like to do is I would like to bring up Sister Frances Barnes, and she is going to participate with some of the children, and we are going to light the Kwanzaa candles.
All right, I believe we have some children in here. If so, would you please come up? Any children that we have? And I hope each of you has a program, because this will be interactive. I'm not going to do all the talking. You're going to talk back to me. All right, we've got 1, 2, 3. Let's start on that end. Give one of them that one. All right. Over this way. You have the 7 principles listed in your program. And you will see each of the 7 principles on a board here. Okay. You know it's important that we engage and involve our children. Who is Nia? All right, Nia. Okay. You want to help her hold that? Let me get her to slide down just a little more. Come down just a little more over here. All righty. We have to take time for our children. We say they are the future, but they are the present as well. Now, when we talk about Kwanzaa, it's rooted and grounded in 7 principles. We have 7 candles. And we have more than 7 children, but we're glad of that. All right. The first day of Kwanzaa, we always light the black candle, because the black candle represents us as a people. And if you don't know, but look at your program. What principle is the black candle? I didn't hear you. What is it? And what does umoja mean? Unity. We are here together. We are here together, different religious backgrounds, different economic levels. Doesn't matter. We are all brown, black, African people. And that's what the black candle is all about. It's lit on day 1. On day 2, and which one of you has day 1? Hold that up. As I call the principal, be sure to raise your poster, okay? Now, yesterday, what is the principle for day 2? Kujichagulia. That's a long word. Say it again. Have you heard that before Kwanzaa? I hadn't. Kujichagulia. And what does it mean? Self-determination. And what color is the second day candle? It's red. Black is the first color. It represents us as a people. The red candle represents the struggle that we've not only been in, but we still are in. We're still struggling. It's not over. Don't think that it's over. All right. And as far as lighting the candles, we alternate. We begin with the black, then we go to the red, which is the struggle, and then we go to the green, which represents the progress, the land that we have made progress. We've come this far by faith and work and a lot of things. Okay? So tomorrow we will light the third candle, but we only light the candles as far as the day. So only 2 candles will be lit today. Yesterday's, which is Umoja, and today's Kujichagulia. Now, what is wonderful? Give him a hand. He's proud. Proud young man. All right, tomorrow's day 3. What is the principle? Say it again. One more time. Who has the Ujima poster? Oh, he's really doing it. Yes, he is. And what does the principle of Ujima mean? Say it again. What does it mean? Collective work and responsibility, which is similar to what we're doing here. No one person is doing all the work. We're going to come together. We're going to come together and make some things happen. And what color is it? It's green. So tomorrow we would have 3 candles lit. All right, on day 4, we go back to what color? The red. And what's the principle for day 4? Ujama. One more time. What is it? Ujama, just like pajamas. Okay. And what does Ujama mean? Oh, now that's a big one. What does it mean? Now this is where I think, struggle, because we have to work together financially as well. And we have to support each other. That is very important, and you know it as well as I in the black community. You know, we've had some communities that had wealth and the children left, didn't come back. Communities have gone awry. So cooperative economics is something that we've got to be keen about. All right, what is the day 5 candle? What color is it? Green. And what is the principle for day 5? Nia. That's an easy one. What does Nia mean? Purpose. Raise your hand if you have purpose in your life. If you got purpose, you're not just going day to day, drinking a little coffee here and there. You've got purpose. Right, okay, and in a few, someone will come and tell you about the purpose that we have in mind as well. All right, he's a busy little fellow, isn't he? All right, and that's okay, that's okay. Day 6, what is the principle? Say it again, Kuumba. One more time, Kuumba. And what does Kuumba mean? Creativity. And we are a creative people. We've been taught to use what you got to get what you want. We are a creative people, but let's add another layer to that definition. When we speak creativity, Kuumba, it means that should you inherit something or receive something, property, whatever, it should be better. You should make it better than it was when you received it. Say you received an old house. Okay, well, when you leave or pass it on, you should have some improvements on whatever that was. Creativity will allow that. All right, so what is day 7 principle? Imani. One more time, what is it? Imani, and what does it mean? It means faith, and we'll take this to another level as well, because we aren't, Kwanzaa is not a religious organization, so we aren't talking Baptists, we aren't talking churches when we speak of faith. This is the faith that you have in yourself, the faith that you have in others, the faith that you have in us as a people, in our leaders, our prosperity, our future. This is what the Imani faith is all about. All right, now, give our children a hand. They've done a wonderful job, and we talk about training the children. We have to teach them. We have to let them know. We have to engage them. We have to involve them. So, before you are seated, children, we want you to get an apple or an orange, whichever one you like. Whichever one you like. All right. Yeah, it's burning. That's okay. Candles do that. That's all right. Now we have the children here. Would any of you like to say something to the audience? One spokesperson? Why you're here at Kwanzaa other than you were forced to come? Certainly. Let's hear from one person. Come on, don't be scared.
I'm here because I like Kwanzaa with my grandma. I like going to Kwanzaa with my grandma.
All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give them another hand. All right, did you want one? Get one. At this time, we will have a little enlightenment from Sister Patricia Lee. Come forward. Let's give her a hand.
Abaragani. Abaragani. To Mid-South Kwanzaa, Chair and Vice Chair, I bring you greetings and the pastor of this great church, our upcoming governor, Dr. Kanita Atwater. Yeah, let's give that a hand, y'all. Yeah, we give hats off to Dr. Cedric Moore with Love Your Own Story Videography. I bring you greetings from the Umoja Foundation, the Miles Family Foundation, and My True Sense. Today, I would like to share a True Sense piece with you from Volume 1 of My True Sense that was written January 28th, 2014. January 28th, 2014. The title is The Grass is Greener on the Other Side. The grass is greener on the other side. The grass may be greener on the other side, but does that mean you should lust after it? How long will we continue to go around in circles? Shall we say 40 years, and then another 40 years, and on? I'm reminded of the Native Americans when one chief asked, "How do you sell the land?" We saw that answer came to be over your dead bodies. We look back a little further when Lot chose what was supposed to be the best portion of land. We heard how it was destroyed. Come on up closer. We wanted what we thought was a better education, just to find out we were still tricked. How long will the madness continue? Come out of her is the cry. Do you not know that we are in the belly of a beast? Someone said that when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. looked up, he realized that we were entering a house that was already on fire. This reminds me of Minister Shakara Yahweh telling us to stay away from smart meters, along with warnings about the lead and the water. Also reminds me of Brother Balewa, who is adamant about what we should be putting into our bodies. Brothers Jaleel, Eli, and Ekpe are concerned about the kind of music our children listen to. Brother Omar Baruti is serious about Kwanzaa. Mr. Tony Brittenham is making sure we get what the school won't give. Brother Cedric Moore and Brother Ron Withers are desperately keeping history alive on video and photography. Brother Jabril Shabazz is showing by example that there is a better way to teach. Yes, prophets still exist today. Just like the prophets of old, they are still pleading and weeping for the people to wake up. Still, the masses enjoy darkness rather than light. We commission you today, all you prophets of light. Keep shining and keep spitting out truth. We are glad during this season that we have an opportunity to share on the Moment of Truth broadcast with this prophet who has been crying loud and sparing none for many generations, Prophet Isaac Richmond, also known as Patrice Lumumba. Look, y'all, the grass is greener on the other side, but the end thereof is death. I am Patricia Lee, and that's my true sense. What do we call the Kwanzaa gift? Zawadi. Well, I would like to do a little Zawadi on today. To the vice chair and the chair, just a little token from my true sense. Thank you all so much for all you do.
Brothers and sisters, Jamal Dorsey. Jamal Dorsey. I have been writing for about 60 years. And I found some things I thought may be very good for this brother to read. Very good. And I want him to read that to you so you can know that this brother does have a high level of intelligence and some serious competence.
America, 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 you are such a disgrace, land of the thieves, home of the slaves. They captured me and my family. They raped my wife right in front of my face. When I tried to break free, they threatened to hang me from a tall oak tree. Where did God get this unhumane white race? One nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. Does that include me? Do I have liberty? Or do I have to wait in line because I'm not your kind? You took away my name and gave me a number. Can I get my freedom before you put me down under? Where is your God in this land of Christianity? I need your God to come and rescue me.
this time, we are honored to have our speaker come forth. Our speaker, okay, y'all do what y'all do.
Hawaragani. First, I would like to say that it's an honor to be here tonight and to serve as the 2025 Queen of this Kwanzaa celebration, and to be in here with such beautiful African people, and to be in this beautiful, beautiful church. The principle for today, he said, is Kujichagulia, and that means self-determination. And we have to speak for ourselves, define ourselves, and name ourselves. And no one can do that for us. We have to do it for ourselves. And so we need to take that on and continue to move forward and continue to do the best that we can, be the best that we can. And I'll present to you my husband, who will further speak.
We're going to stand together on this, and we're going to do what we do. We're just going to talk to you. And before we continue, though, we need permission from the elders. If anybody 80 years old, anybody 80, do we have your permission to speak before you, brother? All right, thank you, elder. Thank you so much. And when I first walked in that door, I felt like I was at home. But you know, you never can be really sure in the beginning. I felt like I was at home. And then Brother Baruti came up here and started talking. I'm at home. And when you're at home, you do what you do. When you're at home, you relax and you do what you do. And what I do is to tell the truth. Now, I wear a king's beard. Every morning when I wake up and look in the mirror, I know what I'm on this planet to do. I am here to maintain my art. Tell the truth. Maintain, keep order. And in my art. Because that's what the kings, all the kings of Kemet, all of them, call themselves the sons of God. They were the sons of God, or the daughters of God in Hatshepsut's case. They're the daughter of God, son of God. We are here to maintain my art. Now once you know that, once you know what those kings, what other people call pharaohs, we call them Nasubidis, the righteous leaders. You know that when they were here to maintain my art, there was no way on God's planet where they're going to enslave anybody. You know what I'm saying? So we determine, she said self-determination, Kujichagulia, we determine what our history says. We look at it and we decide. And we decide who's lying about us and who's telling the truth. And when they say that our king held some people slaves and made them make bricks out of straw, we say it's a lie. Because we're living self-determination. All right? And that is what today's principle is. Now, I'm going to just tell you what I think. And you think about it. Right? Now, Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey said, wherever you go, you take a book with you. Therefore, if you go there to meet somebody, and that somebody's late, you don't have to sit there and complain about their being late. You can sit there and read and educate yourself, because nobody's going to educate us but us. All right? Self-determination. Now, there was another fella. He was an American psychologist, right? Because in the beginning, you know, like Frederick Douglass, they kicked his eye out because he was determined to learn how to read. And he says that once you learn to read, you will be forever free. Now, Frederick Douglass didn't say once you learn how to. Everybody know how to read, but he said once you learn to read, you will be forever free. Marcus Garvey tells us to read, right? All right, now, self-determination. We're going to determine who we're going to follow, right? There was another guy, B.F. Skinner. You might know B.F. Skinner. He's an American psychologist that wrote Beyond Freedom and Dignity. He said, and he had this Skinner box with these rats in it, and he was figuring out how to control these rats, right? Now, Amos Wilson tells us that we're the rats in the Skinner box. What B.F. Skinner was doing was telling his people how to control this mighty, mighty Africa. You can't control him with a gun because, like Baruni's daddy, he'd take that gun from you and kill you with it. You can't control him with a gun. You got to control his mind. And what B.F. Skinner said is that we've got to develop a technology that will stop people from reading so many books. This is the technology. This is it. Now, we're supposed to set an example for the children. Do our children see us reading, or they see us flipping through this foolishness? Self-determination. Now, are we going to follow B.F. Skinner and be a rat in his Skinner box? Or are we going to follow Marcus Mosiah Garvey and be a king? That's how we determine what we're going to do. Now, I tell you, like I wave this thing here, just like Jomo Kenyatta. And when I wave it, I'm telling evil, all evil, that you will not be comfortable in my face. Take some time, take just a second of silence for the people in Nigeria. Just a second. Because my aunt, I'm supposed to maintain my aunt. And my aunt said, what is the last one? No, in my aunt. It's reciprocity. What goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. Day or two ago, they bombed Nigeria. Dropped a bomb in Nigeria. Now, I'm telling you, we determine what's right and what's wrong. I don't care who done it. If you're right, you're right. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. And you're going to hear from us. There's got to be a response for what happened in Nigeria. Now, they give the Jews sanctuary in America. They protect the Jews. And they don't allow anybody to come here and mess with the Jews. Now, even if there are ISIS members in Nigeria, the Nigerians gave them sanctuary. You don't bomb anybody that's got sanctuary. Nigerians are determining who their friends are going to be. Self-determination. That's what we're celebrating today. Oh, yeah. At 5 o'clock today, me and this lady will be married 56 years. We put 11 Africans on this earth, and I'm talking Africans in the mind. Not only are they black and nappy-headed, and they in turn have put 21 grandchildren of our grandchildren on this planet. Now, this is what we've done in the past 56 years. Oh, and then another thing, because I want to set a good example for the children, young men, when you get married, right? Marry somebody that got some sense now. If you're in school, I started looking for a wife in the 6th grade, right? In the 6th grade. This girl named Edna, the teacher had her explaining to everybody that didn't understand what she was talking about. And I said, I'm going to marry Edna. But we moved before I got of age to marry. So when you young children, you're going to school, look for a girl that's real polite. Look, because you're self-determined. You're determining who you're going to live your life with, right? And you look, who's sharing with the other students? Who's helping the other students? And if you watching around everybody taking a test, this girl that's letting somebody else copy off her paper, you say, that's the one I'm gonna marry because she's helpful. Right? Now, I've been married to this lady 56 years, and if I'm going to buy a pair of shoes, I'm going to go to her and ask her, do you think I ought to buy some shoes? And she said, yes, I'll go get them. She said, no, I don't even ask her why. It's supposed to be your, yeah, right. Like, she's the female in your life that's taking the place of your mama and grandmama, right? So I asked mama and I asked grandmama about stuff. I asked her about stuff. All right, you understand what I'm saying, young man? Good. Now, that was in 1980. All right, you hear me now? In 1980, we spent a lot of time on the University of Mississippi campus. A lot of time. There were some Nigerian students on the campus, right? And these students, they never did see them at a football game. They never did see them at a basketball game. They didn't come to the tailgating parties. They didn't go to the dances. And when school was out for spring break, they was in the library. Those students were studying all the time. But you know that was out of the ordinary. When white people see something out of the ordinary, they have to know. They have to know why you're doing what you're doing. So they asked them, and the students didn't say anything. And finally one girl got up and said, my people need me. I ain't got time for games. Now in school, in elementary and high school, somebody had taught those children to look out for themselves and to decide what they're going to do. Self-determination. I don't care what the white folks are doing. I don't care what they're promoting. You ain't got time for no foolishness. Because your people are suffering. And that young man that just read that, I think, Baruti, did you write it? All right. They said, hey, look at this is what's going on. This is what's been going on. And we say for 400 years, but it's actually 2026 years coming up. For 2026 years, we've been catching hell. Now, we're raising up a group of children because when you need something, the ancestors come and be that. Like she said that not only these children are the future, they're the present, they're also the past. They're also the past. And Harvey Wells is in here now. You know how it works. Life is a circle. You know how it works. But then what we got to do is when Jesus was born, you remember what happened? Herod was trying to kill him, told his mama, said, take this child to safety, take him into Africa where nobody's ever harmed. Right? When Moses was born, they was trying to kill him. These are just stories. There ain't no truth. They ain't saying history. Right? When Moses was born, somebody was trying to kill him. Their mama took him and hid him in the bushes, hid him in an alligator-infested river. Right? Now, today, children are being born in our midst. And what do we do with them? Out of be Wells, we send out of be Wells to a public school while white folks are determined to destroy them. Self-determination. You're going to determine what you're going to do. Right? Now, somebody mentioned prophets, that we still had prophets, right? We do. We just don't pay them any attention. Amos Wilson from Hattiesburg, Mississippi was a prophet. A prophet. You got to know what our prophets are saying. He said that they sent us the Head Start, but our children are born with a Head Start. That's what Amos Wilson said. Kobe K.K. Campbell said that we have got to control our own mind. We got to control our own mind if we're going to effectively alter our oppressed condition. Now, we got to control our own mind. And what is our mind? Our collective mind, not just my individual mind, my collective mind. It's the children that come into our midst. The children that are being born by black women, that's our mind. And we got to control it. The people in Nashville shouldn't decide what our children are going to learn. The people in Jackson, Mississippi shouldn't decide what our children are going to learn. The people in Washington, D.C. shouldn't decide what our children are going to learn. We've got to decide that. That's self-determination. I'm going to determine what this child needs to know because he's got to solve the problems that I have. Nobody else is going to solve them for us. If we don't solve our own problems, they won't get solved. We've proved that for the last 400 years. Now, just like, I'm going to say something that you might not agree with right now, right? But just think about it. We fought tooth and nail to get the right to vote, right? Been voting for how long, and things are worse. Now we got to fight tooth and nail to get that battle away from our people because nobody's going to solve our problems except us. Standing out in the rain, vote for somebody that don't give up for you. And they prove it. Now, it's not the individual person that you send to Nashville. It's not the individual person. I watched our brother Barack Obama, right? When they elected him, or selected, whichever one you want to go with, he put his hands on the Bible and swore the same oath that Richard Nixon swore to support the Constitution and defend it, a Constitution that was written by enslavers. That ain't the way we can go. We got to determine something. We got to sit down with each other and make some other determinations. I'm going to tell you one more thing. There's one more. And we got to decide what we're going to do. All right? Between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Between Thanksgiving, those two holidays. Now, Karinga had the good sense to say, you don't buy gifts for Kwanzaa. You make them. Like Sister Lee just gave you something that she made. Right? You make the gifts that you're going to give. Europeans say you come and on Black Friday, you're going to get my business out of the red and put it in the black. You're going to spend all your money. Now, this money that we spent between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we had enough money to create and to build and staff an elementary school. That's just this year. Now, next year, we could have took it to the middle school level. If we're going to save the money that we've been spending foolishly, the next year we can put it in the middle school level. Next year we can go to the high school level. The year after that we can go to the university level, the college level. Then because that's a lot of money we're spending. The Chinese are sending boatloads of plastic toys over here. I watched my grandson. I watched him close. Because when he was born, he weighed 2 pounds. And I watched him in the NICU. And in the NICU, every time they came to church, he got red hair. Every time they came to change his diaper, he started screaming, hollering. And what I reckon he was saying was, get your hands off me. And I watched him when he started crawling. When he started crawling, he would crawl down under the sink where we keep the dishes and stuff. And he'd get all that stuff out of there and start playing with it. He was making his own toy. toys. Then the Chinese sending this stuff over here for us to buy it, give it to them, tell them and lie to them, tell them a white man in a red suit came down the chimney and just left it for you. Now, self-determination, right? We've got to determine that the children, you can see these children, how smart they are. We've got to determine if we're going to teach them or if they're going to teach them. Now, Al Capone was a gangster. Frank Nitti was a gangster. Shotgun Slade or whatever it was, Machine Gun Kelly was all gangsters, right? Now, 50 years ago, before 1968, was there a gang problem in the community? No. But we turned the children over to Frank Nitti's children, and now we got a gang problem. We turned the children over to Al Capone's children, now we got a gang problem. Self-determination. Either we make this thing real, or we talk about it every year and continue to die like we're dying. Either we make it real, or we continue to talk about it year after year since 1966, and we continue to die like we're dying. It's up to us. Self-determination. We're going to determine that. We're going to determine whether we live or die. We're going to determine that. Now, I told you that I always consult my wife about things, because she's smart. She's real smart. I mean, real smart. I came out of high school. I never had a class in algebra. Never had one in algebra in the high school that I went to. And when she was in college, when we got married, she said, "Come go to college with me." I said, "Well, I don't know. You on the honor president list, and I'm coming up there with all D's. What's going to happen?" And she said, "Well, come and go with me. I'll help you." That settled it, right? I went to MI College with her, and she was so respected by the professors at MI College. So Dean Adams caught her helping me with the test and said nothing. You got to walk in what you believe. You got to walk in dignity. And then everybody recognizes that dignity, and they'll treat you with dignity. And I left out of college with Dr. Rudy. He said he was an A student, and when he said that they gave him $5,000 for what he wrote, and I said, well, I was reading Reader's Digest, so I wasn't writing it down. And so she helped me through, and I came out from life with her help. I'm telling you, young men, start looking for a wife now, and look for the smartest one, and the prettiest one, and especially the one that's good in numbers. Because before they changed the banking system, she used to spend the money twice. Write a check to a guy over here, go over here and get her some cash, and before the check got to the bank, she'd be figured out how to deal with it. You got to marry somebody that knows some math now. All right, let's go. Send them prayer. Can we pray? Do we have enough? Okay, let's go. Bless y'all. Thank y'all so much. Oh yeah, thank y'all so much. That is a hard act to follow. Thank you, King and Queen. Living examples of the resilience of the African under oppression. Teachers at the ages that they are. And I'm sure everybody learned something from what you just heard. I'm Saku Kamau for the African community. I want everybody to pull out your cell phone. Get your cell phone out and go to your Google search engine. And I want you to type in image of many, M-E-N-E, image of many, Africa's first pharaoh. Because my talk here is about reclaiming our heritage. Is that right, my sister? All right. I guess got a short time, so I want to be as effective as I can, because when you pull up that image, it should look like this. You familiar with that image, sister, my brother and sister? M-E-N-E. Many. How many people know that Memphis, Tennessee is named after Memphis, Egypt, but not nearly as many people are aware that Memphis, Egypt was named after this individual. And I wanted you to look at it for yourself and determine who you think that individual's heritage represents. It's a prototypical black man. Now, many people don't react to what I just said, but if you understand that this city, named after a black man, united what at the time was Upper and Lower Egypt, creating Earth's first nation state. And so I encourage you to investigate this individual, because as you've already heard today, we've been miseducated, and we continue to be miseducated. And one of the things I learned from the King and Queen here is that until we start teaching ourselves, we're going to remain uneducated, and we're paying a dearly cost for it with our lives and our souls. So I want to also say that I'm just really proud and feel very privileged to be here amongst you, because we are the survivors. You know, I'm a self-taught African historian. Ever since I've been an adult, I've been on a search of not only who we are, but what happened to us. Very few of us really understand what happened to us. And I wish I had enough time to go into it into depth, but I want to touch on something that I got to back up. Is anybody here older? Brother Baruti, and put you on the spot. How old are you? 78. Is anybody here older than 78? I should have asked your privilege to speak. Do I have your concurrence to continue? Thank you. That was the first thing I was supposed to do. But again, that's part of the miseducation process. We forgot. How many people, raise your hand if you're familiar with the term Sankofa? Sankofa means we got to go back and fetch what we left. That's what the miseducation did to us. We had to. I like to tell this quick story. Many of you are familiar with the root story, the proud African Kunta Kinte. Some of you have heard me say this story before, but this is an occasion that I should share it again. But there's a scene in Roots when the proud African Kunta Kinte was tied up by his hands and he was being beaten to death because he wouldn't relinquish his African name. See, your name identifies you. It tells you who you are, where you've been, where you're going. So Kunta Kinte was being beaten to death, and he realized he was going to die Kunta Kinte, or he was going to survive as Toby. We all know the decision that he made. And that's a metaphor of what has happened to all of us. We had to relinquish our Africanity. We had to leave it behind in order to live amongst, in this proximity to our oppressor. And that's a story I really would like to teach more on, racism. Many of us don't understand what racism is.
But if you don't understand racism, everything you do understand will only confuse you. Anybody heard that before? Raise your hand. I just want to take a, you familiar with Nellie Fuller? A 95-year-old genius who taught us what racism is and how to handle it. I feel comfortable handling racism because not only do I know who I am, I understand what oppresses me and the why and the how of the oppression. Okay? So, and something else Brother Spookway said to us that really resonated with me, I hope it did with you as well. Read. Read. I'm a bibliophile. You'll never see me without a book. And I've been that way since I've been a teenager. But everything I learned is about me, us. So I feel comfortable explaining what happened to us and what continues to happen to us as a result of us. You know that you've heard the saying, the greatest weapon of the oppressor, what's the end of it? Let's say it together. The greatest weapon of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. We're living examples of it. So until we recapture who we are, and we're doing that, the fact that you're sitting here is proof of that. And it shocks the well-being of our oppressor. We're turning it around. You here this moment are living proof of that. And I can go on and on and on, but I know my time is running out. I just want to say that I'm really pleased and privileged to be here, to be amongst you, because my charge, my purpose is to do what I'm doing right now. I got all the degrees that you can get. I've had several careers. The hardest one I had was trying to teach our children in the classrooms of this city and county. It's the hardest job I ever had in my life. But until we do that work, until we start teaching ourselves as we're doing on occasions like this, we will continue. And let me say this. The whole planet is depending on us. In this country, I heard somebody say here today, we're in the belly of the beast. Bomb Christmas Day, you know, we're in the heart of this monster that's got its tentacles all over the world. And people all over the world are waiting for us to wake up. And the fact that you are here are examples that that is actually happening. So I'm happy. Abargani.
All right, everybody, we are nearing the end of our program, but prior to that, Brother Baruti is going to come briefly about what's in a name.
What's in a name? When we first came over here, they gave us a number. It wasn't a name. And then eventually they gave us a name, but it wasn't our name. They took away our name and gave us a number. And what I did myself, with my 7 children, I took and named them African names. Every one of them. Some got African names that are five different names on that same birth certificate, 7 names, but I named them after the African names. And I want you to do the same thing. It shouldn't be like Larry Smith. It shouldn't be like Ed Rice. It shouldn't be none of that. That's not you. That's the slave master. Got you being a slave all over again. So I want you to go back, and I got my legal name changed after my father passed away. I got my legal name changed to Omar Muhammad Baruti. Omar means praise, Muhammad means with the highest praise, and Baruti means teacher, because I was teacher of the year 4 times in a row, from Syracuse, New York to St. Louis, Missouri to East St. Louis. 4 years in a row, even though I had no teaching credentials, because I wasn't trying to be a teacher. The man that came to Longmont College said, we need teachers. I said, they're drafting people to go to Vietnam. He said, if you can come teach, we're good with that. You ain't got to have teaching credentials. And that's what I did. Syracuse, New York, I taught in what they call a school that was for children that had bad behavior. You had to be expelled from 3 schools to go to that school. And you didn't have no breakfast in the morning, no lunch. You went from class to class to class to class, and then you went home. 5 hours of classroom instruction, you went home. What I did when I got to the school, I was training the children on who they are. And I put in pictures of 51 black scientists all around the classroom, because I'm teaching science. And I controlled them to make them understand this is who you are. And I gave them all a microscope so they could look and study who they are. And then when the principal came and said, you got these children on track, we don't know what you're doing, but they really love coming to your class. And then he said, can you go teach Mr. Clausen's class? Because those children there are off track. And when I decided in Christmas, I'll teach those children. And I did the same thing there. But again, we got to go back and do the naming for our children. Get rid of these white folks' names. My brother, you got no white folks' name. You got that. Get rid of them. And you can go straight to books off the internet, or you can go get a book with all these African names and give your children African names. I changed my name when they had Mayor Chandler. He was the mayor of Memphis. He became a judge, Judge Chandler. And I took the document to the courthouse, and I gave it to him, and I said, I'm going to change my name. Here's a copy of my birth certificate, but here's my name that I want to change it to, Omar Muhammad Baruti. And he said, tell you what, you come back next Wednesday and we'll talk about it. And I asked the clerk, I said, what we got to talk about? He said, he's been drinking too much. But then the next Wednesday came by, and I came back in the courtroom, and then he just signed some paper and said, okay, you can go. And that's how I get. But again, go back, look, there are books all over. Go back and find an African name that you can name yourself, and when your children are born, change names, because those names really apply to us, not the ones the white man gave us and made us his slaves. Do we understand? Can we say amen? Hallelujah? All right, I shake.
Our program, and we hope that everyone has heard something that you haven't heard before. And I hope that you enjoyed listening, because there was a lot of information that we shared. There was a lot of information. And I want to thank our speakers and everyone who got up and said something. Because I believe in my heart that there were some things said that you can take and use in your life to carry you farther. None of us in here have reached the stage where we were ready to check out. So we still got time to learn something, right? Okay. So I hope that saying that to say this is that I hope that everyone heard something that they had never heard with our speakers and everyone that said something this afternoon. To me, it was fulfilling because I heard some things that I hadn't heard. I heard something like it, but I had never heard it. So we want to thank everyone for coming out and enjoying the end of this Kwanzaa season with us. And we really appreciate being here in this place. Thank you, Dr. Fisher. And everyone leave here, enjoy yourself, enjoy the rest of your life. And we at Mid-South Kwanzaa will keep you informed when we have something else going on. We like to see this crowd get larger. So.
All right, we will close with Harambe. What does Harambe mean? Let's pull together. Let's pull together. So if you would stand and let's try to get one unbroken circle. So just hold hands with somebody. Just, you got to get away from your seat. We will Harambe our way towards the end of the program. And this is how we're going to do it, so you'll know how we're going to do this. Now, there are 7 principles. 7 principles. We will call the principle. We will say each principle. And then we will say the definition of it. Come on, get in the circle somewhere. Come on up. And we will look at the day of the principle. For instance, Umoja is day 1. So when we do Harambe, you just go up and bring your arms down. We will only do 1 Harambe for Umoja. And then for Kujichagulia, we will do 2 Harambes, and we will do that until we've done all 7 principles. First we say the principle, definition, Harambe. Got it?